Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Mary D Show. My name is Mary D. Welch, and I am your host. And I'm so glad you made it today. Anytime you take time to spend with us, it just excites me. So I'm all excited to see you. I like to first, before I get started with the show, I always want to let everybody know you can go to YouTube and you can subscribe. You get to just go right there and subscribe to the show, and you'll get a notification every time we go live. We've been live every single Monday for almost a year and a half now. Every Monday live. So that's nothing but God. We definitely blessed to be here. I like to thank first our replay viewers and our live viewers because many people come on and they see the replay and they make comments. And I try to make sure we answer the comments. Either myself or somebody from the team will come on and answer those comments for you because we appreciate them. Just I can't stress enough how much it means to me every time you guys comment. So we want to thank our sponsors for today. Today, our sponsors for today's show are the Idea Club. Those of you familiar with Dumas Martin Jr., he is the president of Idea Club, and he is a sponsor for our show today. If you like to get formation for an LLC, a 501c3, S Corp or C Corp, you want to contact Dumas Martin. And I believe that it's theideaclub.com, and it's scrolling across the page. You want to contact him. Also, if you are interested in buying or selling any real estate, you want to contact the Henderson Real Estate Group. Give them their information is there on the bottom also. We also, if you are interested in writing your first book, many people talk about writing a book, ladies and gentlemen. I hear it every day. And literally every day. Somebody will say, "Oh, I have an idea for a book." And I go, "Really? Okay. Then why don't we get together and write it?" But it's saying you have an idea and writing the book is two totally different things. And I promise you can do it. That's why you want to go to First Book Academy. Go to First Book Academy, and someone from the team will get in contact with you and work with you on writing that book and getting that book written. And it is a legacy. Anytime you have a book that you've written, it is a legacy to your family. And I will be showing you a couple of the covers. Next, we also have Front Page Publishing. Not only do you want to write a book, you want to publish it. So after you've written the book, then you would contact Front Page Publishing and they will be able to help you to publish the book. And that's significant because you want to be able to, the biggest one out there without a doubt is Amazon. And many people, every single day, people are publishing books to Amazon. So you definitely want to get your book published. Now, also, before I go on, let me show you the cover. And I'm really talking about this book. It's right over here in the corner here. This is the newest book that I've written. Some of you've seen it. And I really am when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so proud of this book. I don't even know how to express that to you. Because families will be saved. I know you how can she say that? Well, because I've gone through it. Probate it can be easy. Let me just stress that. But this is what I've heard. Literally, without a doubt, everyone I've met that's been through probate has told me it is not something they want to repeat. Nope. So that's telling me it's not just what our family has gone through. Other families go through it too. And what happened is, as I was researching things, I ended up finding out about something that many people were not aware of, and that is to learn about how do you avoid probate or save your home. It's just the title of the book, Save Your Home from Probate. And I always try to show it there we go. You don't have the reflection. And it's right there on Amazon. And you just you go under Mary D. Welch, Save Your Home from Probate, and you can find the book. If you say, well, I don't own property, this is what I always say. If you own a home or you know someone who does, this is going to save them so much grief if they have a property. Because as we know, I know we may all live a long life, which is good. That's good, but nobody's going to live forever. And this is what me answer to you. What is probate? Because I've heard people say that to me. What is probate? Probate is a court proceeding. It has to go to court to change the title of the property or to change the property. because that person has passed away or they've died, and now the property needs to go to someone else. The title, you're going to change the deed. You can't just go down to City Hall or wherever the county records and change it. A judge has to agree to that change. And that's why this is so important, because if you just take a look at the book, and it tells you how do you save your home from this? And you can go right there. And you can get it in Kindle version, paperback, and hardback versions. And so many people have texted and emailed and said, you know what? You have no idea what this has done for our family to have this. So anyway, now, ladies and gentlemen, before I get to our comments, I see the comments coming in, and I do appreciate them. I want to introduce to you our special guest for today. I've known this lady for quite some time, and I've always been impressed by the different activities and everything she's worked on and her contributions to the community. And let me introduce to you to Hazel Lambert. Hazel Lambert is the founder and CEO of A.N.T, a consulting and training solutions. Consulting and training solutions. Her agency advocates for nurturing transition solutions through policies, practices, and legislation that promote social equity for the underserved and underrepresented populations. She is a consultant for Riverside University Health System Behavioral Health and serves in the capacity as the Cultural Community Liaison for the African American community. Hazel holds a bachelor's degree in business and is a certified life coach, trainer, and state ombudsman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you the one and only Hazel Lambert. Come on in, Hazel.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so glad you're here, because I forgot to tell the audience too. Not only are you going to talk about different things about the community, you're also going to give a presentation. This is Black History Month, and you're going to give a Black History Month presentation. We're going to start out with that, and then we'll go into all the other activities you're involved in. All right. Okay. So let's say hi to some of our guests today. Richard. Hi, Richard. How are you? Richard. And this is Sheila. Hi, Sheila. How are you, Sheila? And these are people, I can tell you, I'm so proud of you. They come on. These are our supporters. They come on. Hi, Willie. Hello, Willie. Willie is in Atlanta, Georgia. So hi, Willie says, hi, Mary. You're so true. I went through that. Oh, see, you know more than see. We're talking about going through probate. It's not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell you. Hi, Charles. Hi, Charles. Oh, hi. He said, hi, Charles. Hi, Hazel. So I'm saying, Charles. You know what it is about. And thank you, Willie, for that, because I'll tell you, I'm being truthful. I had never been through it, ladies and gentlemen. So I didn't know. I really had I felt like I just never experienced it. So when I went through probate, I was like, what is going on here? So I've learned a lot. And this is why I try to tell you, avoid it like the plague. Let me just tell you, avoid it. It is not pretty. Oh, you said hi. You said, what did you say on here? Richard said, hello, Hazel, 5, no downtown. I'm surprised you didn't say 6. I'm sorry.
I'll say 6.
For those of you that don't know, we're talking about bed widths. And that's one of the big. Richard said 5, no downtown. And Richard, we played yesterday. In fact, the man I'm off subject, but anyway, the man almost won to Boston, but he didn't get the Boston because I had the last card, and that's why he didn't get it. That's it. So anyway, so we're gonna get back on track here. And Hazel, and she's gonna give us for Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen. This is the presentation that Hazel presented to the African American Family Wellness Advisory Group. And when I was there at the meeting and I saw the presentation, I said, oh, Hazel, can you please come on the show and also share this with our audience? So I'm going to add this to the stream here, and I'm going to take us. There we go. Okay, here you go, Hazel.
All right, Mary. So you have control of the slide. So when I ask you to go to the next slide, just go to the next slide.
Not a problem.
I want to start off by saying happy Black History Month to everybody. And I wanted to point everybody to the image that you see here, which is Queen Nazima.
Mhm.
She's a royal queen. It was a royal queen in Congo. And the law goes that you cannot show her image unless you're going to give the true history of African American. So I wanted to point that out, and most people can't see it because of this on the screen. But if you notice, one of the things that stand out about her is her nails. They're
Mhm.
long and they're pointed, and this particular image was taken back between 1902 and 1904, which is time they think that this photo was taken. And if you look at her nails, these are the nails that are in fashion now, which are called the stilettos. And I just
Mhm.
wanted to point that out for everybody to show that, as African Americans, we pretty much kind of set the standard for fashion and a lot of other things. So Queen Nazima,
Right.
her fashion statement today that everybody's wearing now are the stiletto nails. So I wanted to point that out. Go to the
All
next
right.
slide, please.
Okay.
So Black History Month is an annual observation that originated here in the United States. It was also known as the African American History Month, and it has received official recognition from governments in the United States and Canada. And more recently, it's been observed in Ireland and the United Kingdom. It began as a way of remembering important people and events in the history of African diasporas. It is celebrated in February, which again, this is February Black History Month in the United States and Canada, while in Ireland and the United Kingdom, it is observed in October. Can you go to the next slide, please?
Mhm.
This is a little off, but the father of Black history was Carter G. Woodson. And I know
Mhm.
most of the time I've heard African Americans say, why February? Why do we get the shortest month in February? Well, it wasn't that it was some conspiracy. Actually, Mr. Woodson was the one that decided he wanted to do pick February as Black History Month. Mr. Woodson went to Douglas High School. He graduated from Douglas High School, went on to become a teacher, and eventually he became the principal of Douglas High School. Of course, he went on to get his bachelor degree in literacy, got a PhD, was involved in a lot of different educational settings. He was the deans. He studied in the Philippines, and he was a member of the American Historical Society, right? But what was happening is he found that, even as a paid member, he found that there was not a lot of information in there about African Americans, and the information that was in there wasn't true. So he made a pledge to himself that he was going to find out as much as he could about African American, the real facts about African American. So he did it what we would call scientifically, right? He found artifacts and historical things that there would be no way that people can contradict that these things weren't true. So he set out to make uh, Black History Week, and it was the second week in February. And he picked February because that was the birth of Frederick Douglass and also Abraham Lincoln. So that's why February was chosen as the week for Black history. But Black history, historically, if you start noticing, you will see that there's been a lot of different accomplishment in February.
Mhm.
You had the birth of Frederick Douglass, you have Langston Hughes, Rosa Parks. The 13th Amendment to abolish slavery was done in February as well. The NAACP was established, the Negro Baseball League, Morehouse College, and for those who do remember, Oprah Winfrey host nationally syndicated Black show happened in February. Martin Luther King was ordained as a minister, and we also had our first U.S. senator in February. So there's been a lot of significant things that happened in February, but the
Mhm.
whole purpose was, February was really an area or a month that Mr. Woodson chose, right? It was only done for a week, but it was the students and educators at Kent State University that expanded the celebration to a month in 1970. And then as we move forward, President Gerald Ford made it official in 1976 that February would be established as Black History Month. Next slide, please.
Mhm.
Black History celebrations, like you said, right now we're seeing all the different things that are going on for the most part, a lot because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to do. Unfortunately, here in Riverside, California, we had to postpone the Black History Parade, which was something that everybody looked forward to. It's been growing for a number of years. So
Mm-hmm.
usually we have parades, we have poetry reading, we have banquets where we honor those who have made contributions in our different community, lectures, songs, speech, dance, lots of exhibits that are going on about those who came before us and those that are making strides and accomplishments now. There are different breakfast ceremonies that's going on, and a lot of things that we're doing to not only heal our community but to honor our ancestors as well. So a lot of Black History celebration that goes on in February. Next slide, please. I wanted to point this out because we all know Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey believed that a people without the knowledge of their past history and origin and culture is like a tree without roots. I put this picture here of the man on the right, where it's as though he's bound, but yet he has the key to unlock the knowledge that's in his brains. And I tell folks, when we think about Black history, and I pointed out so much as this. I tell folks that if you go to have something done, fixed on your house or your car or whatever, you want to go to get the best of the best. So when they talk about slavery, the reason that they pick African Americans, because when they went there, they saw not so much as the technology, but they saw the science and everything that the Africans were doing. So they had to build America. So they wanted to bring the best of the best, And I put this picture here to let people know, if we really only knew the contributions, our histories, we have the key to unlock that. So I agree with Marcus Garvey that, we need to know our roots. And that's what Black history is about. We got Juneteenth. But again, as we say, Black history isn't just in February, it's every day,
Mm-hmm.
365 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next slide, please.
Yeah.
I wanted to also point out the celebration of our African diasporas, right? So when we look at how Blacks were spread out, you notice that the United States took 46.4 million because they had to build a country. They had to build the United States. And we were all spread out. So you're looking at Black Africans, you look at the Afro-Puerto Ricans, the Afro-Caribbeans, and so on, the Jamaicans, the Haitians, the Creole. And oftentimes I tell people, and I know, Mary, you said I know you have several books that you've written, and I've enjoy reading, and some of the books I find oftentimes we say Black, but when you look at how we spread out, you have to say Black, you have to say brown, you have to say cinnamon, almond, beige, mocha, nutmeg, we're all different shades of colors, and that's because of our African diasporas. So I wanted to make sure that people understand that it's not just we're Black, we're in so many different shades, and we're spread all across. So next slide, please.
Right.
I wanted to point this picture out. I hope people can look at the picture and see it for what it really is. Oftentimes we're blinded by the picture and what the true meaning is. As African Americans, we need to continue to lift each other up. We need to see the picture for what it really is. Are they the real lies? Are we being bamboozled, as they say, so to speak? We need to continue to come together to lift each other up, to understand who we are, the contributions that we made to America, to the United Kingdom, in Haiti, in Jamaica, and so forth. And that's what I want people to understand when we're talking about Black History Month. Black history isn't about us as slaves. We were much more than slaves, and I think it's important that we understand that and realize that. Next slide, please. And as we begin to uplift each other, we need to work together in solidarity. We can't see this too much because of, the way it's set up. But I wanted to look at just the voices, how we've come together, and the struggles and the movements and the revolution and all those things. We've been able to come together and make it a point to say, to our different cities and states and communities that we need change. So Riverside City Council declared that racism is a public health crisis, which is something that was just recently done. I'm going to go to my other paper here because it's a little uh, I can't read as much of it. 199 cities across have declared that racism is a public health issue. We have the American Psychiatrists Association also published an apology to Black and Indigenous people. We have the National Institute of Health apologized for structural racism and biochemical research and pledge. And again, we're continuing to work together, to work in solidarity, to make sure that we're saying, you know, we need change. Change must happen in order for us to continue to move forward. Next slide.
Mhm.
And as we celebrate Black history, we want to make sure that we pay homage not only to our past, those that have came before us. We want to pay homage to our present, you know, those that are making a difference in the community. And people need to realize it's not just someone famous. It could be you. It could be people in your household.
Mhm.
Don't think that you have to be famous in order to make a difference in your community. Let's start right in your own home with your
Mhm.
children, you know,
Yep.
with your grandchildren, you know, and we need to prepare our future. As you can see, the pictures that I put together on the right, you have here the little girl that's dressed as Spider Woman. Who says we
Mhm.
can't dream big? You know, who
Yep.
says that we can't have the next Spider Woman? Mary, you can do the next book on our new Spider Woman, right? You know, let's
Okay.
prepare our next politicians, our next
Yeah.
pastors, you know. So with that said, let's move on to the next slide.
Okay.
Again, Black people have the oldest, the greatest history. Again, don't let slavery be the only chapter you know. Don't let people tell you that, you know, that's where our beginning started as slavery. That may be something that they say here in the United States, but as quiet as it's kept, we were not always slaves here in the United States. We've continued to be exploiters. We've always been involved in science and different things of that nature. So be proud of who you are. Again, let it start right there in your home, celebrating who you are, the contributions that we made. And again, happy Black History Month.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Hazel. I can tell
You're
you.
welcome.
Here, I'm going to I reduce this. And I don't know if anyone has any questions. Let me see. Let me take this out. And we definitely want to thank. Well, they're coming. I'm looking right now. I didn't get a chance to see them while we were in the broadcast. But here comes some, and they say, "Oh, this is from Gwen. Hi, Gwen." And she says, "Hello, Mary and your guests." She said, "So that's she's saying hello to Hazel too." And, and Richard says, uh, "Dr. Carter G. Woodson is
Yes,
of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated." Thank you for that, Richard.
it was a whole list I didn't get into, but he had a whole list of
Oh,
honorees and honorary things that he's done for the
oh,
African
that's
American
wonderful.
community.
And Charles says, he says, "Is it possible to get a copy of the PowerPoint?" He's asking for a copy of it.
Sure. I'll give you guys
Okay.
the website where you can go to the African American Family Wellness Advisory Group where the PowerPoint is located.
All right. So we'll put that in the chat. And then Sheila, she says, "Awesome. Thank you for the knowledge." Oh, you're welcome, Sheila. I can tell you when Hazel gave it, I said, "Oh, you've got to share this. You've got to share this." Because and you can never hear it enough, I don't think, about the things that we've done. And as many of you know too, I try to send out historical things through the email, and the response has always been really positive, of people saying, "Please continue to send those," because they like hearing about it. And a lot of it is not in any textbooks. That's what happens. I know, I can't remember. Did he write The Miseducation of the Negro? Was that Carter?
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't point that out. Yes, that's a great read. The miseducation of Black people. That's a great book to read.
So that's something we want to keep in your on your reading list, ladies and gentlemen, if you're
Definitely.
interested. Okay, but I want to thank you for that presentation, Hazel. That was wonderful. But I also know too, you're act in your own right. You are actively involved in part to my as long as I've known you in helping people who may not be in a position to help themselves or not knowing that they need the help. That's another thing. So I just wanted to make sure that today we gave you an opportunity to tell what type of different activities or different things are you involved in the community and how you can be of service.
Oh, quite a few. As we spoke earlier, I've had to, clear my plate of a number of different things. I just
Mhm.
wanted to go back a little bit. You were talking about um, probate. I was the program director for the long-term care ombudsman program, and there I had to
Mhm.
advocate for those that were in the skilled nursing facility. And I've seen a lot of times once they go into the home,
Mhm.
sometimes they lose their property, or
Yep.
sometimes if they expire, so to speak, then you finding that the children or the family have to go through probate because there was no will or trust
Exactly.
put in place. And I hear those different stories of those challenges and those things that they have to deal with after they
Yep.
lose a loved one that has been, in a long-term care facility, and having to go through the judicial system to
Right.
get the homes or,
Yep.
be able to sell it, whatever the case may be. So definitely, as a long-term care ombudsman program, I was responsible for advocating for those that were in the skilled nursing facility to make sure that their rights were not violated. Because
Right.
most people don't realize that just because you're in a facility, you lose your rights. No, you still have those rights.
Oh,
So I did that for a number of years, advocating
mhm.
on their behalf,
Well, let
make
me
sure that,
ask you this, and I
yes.
mean to interrupt you because
Go ahead.
many people don't realize you can have a will, ladies and gentlemen. A will is not enough. Let me just say that because what a will does is let a judge know what your wishes are, but you can go to court and all of a sudden somebody pops up out of whatever the case may be, and now you can be in court for years over one little thing because every time you go to court, then they'll say, okay, it's another 90 days before you go back again. If the property is not paid for, someone has to pay that mortgage. Someone has to take care of those things. We think, I don't know why people think this, but all of that has to happen when you're in probate court. The property has to be maintained. I don't know if you know that. You cannot just, let it run down because next thing you have rats or whatever the case may be. But the point is you can't let property just sit there and just let it just deteriorate. But if you have a will, that's a start. Let me say that. And am I right, Hazel? You have to go to probate. You have to go to
Definitely.
court to probate a will. You don't just
And,
get to take
and
the will down there. Go on. I'm
and
sorry.
and one of the other things, in addition to that, I tell people to make sure that they get an advanced healthcare directive.
Yep, that's in there too.
Definitely get an advanced healthcare directive. That was one of the biggest things that I
Mhm.
advocated for and pushed for. That I was often called in to witness advanced healthcare directive. You're never too young, because
Yeah,
we all think we're going to live forever,
correct.
to get an advanced healthcare director to make sure that your wishes are known, so that unfortunately if a situation come, at least your family and your loved ones know what your wishes are and won't have to go through that process as well. But as you said, Mary, a will, a trust, an advanced healthcare directive, make sure that those things are in place now
Right.
beforehand.
It's and a trust. Let me just and give you so you guys are getting a lesson today. But a trust is the most powerful thing that you can have or vehicle. Now, but a trust does cost you anywhere from usually over $1,000, to be honest with you. And usually the trust will have advanced medical directive. It'll have a will in there. It will also have what else is in a trust? It's like four really, really important papers you have to have in there. But I would say this: a trust, you usually have to go to an attorney to get a trust. Let me say that you do need to go get an attorney involved. Um, I mean, I say I would never tell anybody not to get one. I would say to get one, but a lot of people truthfully can't afford one, and they'll tell you, I would get one if I could afford one. What it's in the book. I hate to be, totally on the horn here, but it is in there. Because I just had someone call last week. The thing, I'm gonna give you guys an example. Last this, and I don't want to call the lady's name. I can call her, I can call her first name. But anyway, I'll tell you this. 4 years ago, I told her about this. Think about this. 4 years ago, her mother was in a mental state. She could contract. You cannot sign a contract if you're not mentally all here. By the way, if you have dementia or Alzheimer's, you can't sign a contract. But at the time, 4 years ago, her mother was fine, and she did. She filled out the necessary the paperwork. Now the later on, the lady became ill, and she had
Mm.
dementia. So now the paperwork is all in place. So now the daughter can now, if it, heaven forbid something happens, and to my knowledge, I think she did pass away in the last few weeks or whatever the case may be. But now it's already done. The home will automatically go to the person that the mother wanted it to go to. That's what you learn in the book. Save Your Home from Probate. Why is it that so? It's so important that one sheet of paper is going to prevent probate. Now, for some people, they're like, I don't care. I have actually heard people say this. I don't care. They can fight over it. I don't even care. I've heard them say it. And I just think, why? And they go, but I'm dead anyway. Who cares? I said, but don't you want to preserve what you've worked hard for and give it to whoever you give it to? But just make sure it goes to that person. When you go to court and go before a judge, let me say this, ladies and gentlemen, you throwing the dice. Anything can happen in that courtroom. I'm just being honest. You don't know how or what can happen. So, and I'm sure Hazel has seen some things in your position where people received the property that it wasn't the person they wanted to get it because they didn't do the paperwork prior to it. So, and we keep coming back to this. I think it's because it's a reason why it's so important. This is what I tell people. If the very least you could do, let me say this to you. People don't even know this. In California, and I'm saying this because many of you are from California, you can write a will in your own handwriting and sign it. This is hard to believe, but it's true. Do you know that's acceptable in a court of law? Now, you never get me to say that that's acceptable to. I'm just saying the in the state of California, it's called a holographic will. You write it by hand and you sign it in your own handwriting, and they will accept that in a court of law. My advice is at least get it notarized. I would do that just to be on the safe side. But the judges because so many people show up with nothing and say, Grandma said this and Grandpa said that. So they're so happy to get something that the person said, but these are their wishes. But I would encourage you, if you don't have a will, at least in California, it's only 5 states that accept this, by the way, and California is one of the 5. You write the will by hand and sign it, or write the will by hand and get it notarized. A notary in California is $15 a signature. I can tell you all this stuff. I've been through it. So, so you can get it for $15 a signature. That's one of the highest notaries, by the way. But that's not the point. I'm saying these to protect all of this work you've done to accumulate a home, and especially in California. You at least wanted to go to who you wanted to go to, but you got to do the work. Am I right, Hazel?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
I am passionate about this. Can you tell? I've been through it. That's why I'm telling
Yes.
you, I've been through it. It is not pretty. Probate is not pretty, people. I promise you it isn't. So if you own property or I always say this, if you own property or you know someone who does, like I said, I don't want to even tell you get the Kindle version. You don't have to even get the paperback or hardback, but I promise you, you will thank me for this. I will promise you that you will be like, oh, I'm so thankful that Mary wrote the book. So anyway, but Hazel, that's only one of your commitments. You have
Yes.
a multitude of commitments.
I have a multitude of commitment. I am also the Cultural Community Liaison with Riverside African American Family Wellness Advisory Group. Now, I wanted to, really horn in and share this for those that don't know. In 2004, Proposition 63 passed, and it pretty much stated that anyone that made over, I believe, over $1 million, funds would go into a pot for mental health. And we know that, especially during the pandemic, we've had a lot of people dealing with anxiety, depression. We've seen the suicide rate go up. We've seen domestic violence go up.
Mhm.
We as African Americans are dealing with a lot of PTSD. Uh,
Mhm.
we've seen a lot of our sisters and brothers, uh, for lack of trying to smooth it over, being gunned down in the street. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
so the Mental Health Services Act, once these funds went into place, Riverside, as well as other states, were required to bring in community liaisons to represent their community. I am the
Right.
representative for the African American community. You know, you have the LGTB, you have the Asian American, you have the Hispanics, you have the deaf and hard of hearing, you have Native American, you have at least 9 different individuals that are representing their communities to say, what is it that we need to do to support our community,
Right.
to provide them with the mental wellness that they need, right?
Right.
So that's what part of my task is in that particular arena, is to work with the African American community to say, what is it that we need? Right now, there's a new program for, that's called Take My Hand, for those
Right.
that may be dealing with, some mental illness or thoughts of, suicide, to be able to call, and someone is there to talk to you, to find out what's going on, to find out, well, maybe, there are some services that you need. For African American, the biggest problem that we have is the stigma that's associated with mental health. We, most of us feel like, we grew up in an environment where anytime we needed some
Mhm.
help, it was always the church. Not saying that that's not a bad thing, but
Right.
some of us actually need, maybe some support groups. Some of us need medication. Some of us, like you said, just need, somebody to talk to, somebody to just validate what we're going through. So
Right.
what programs do we need to help us eliminate those barriers
Right.
to getting those mental services? So that's the role that I play as a cultural community liaison for Riverside County, is working with the African American communities,
Uh-huh.
stakeholders, and partners to say, what do we need to do to reduce the stigma, to eliminate the barriers, so
Right.
that we can make sure that we get the services that we need. And
Right.
Mary, one of the biggest problem that we're finding
Uh-huh.
is that most of the time when we go to get those services, we don't have anybody that look like us, that can understand,
Oh,
where we are, who we are, and what we're going through. Most of the
right.
time we have
Right.
somebody that sit across from us and we're talking to them, and they don't understand. So
Right.
part of the problem that we're finding is there's not enough counselors and psychologists and
Right.
psychiatrists available to support, the African American community. And that's something that, I'm working on, to say this is what we need. This is what the
Right.
African American community needs.
I know too. Sheila what says here, this awesome, and thank you for this knowledge. I mean, this, all of this, because I did want to put in on Take My Hand. Is it takemyhand.com or takemyhand.org?
It's Take My Hand. Good question. I have my flyer here.
Okay.
Well, they can go under www.rcdmh for
R
Riverside,
RCD, hold on, RCDMH.
rcdmh.org, which is Riverside County Department of Mental Health.org. And you will see all the different services that are available if someone is interested in getting some assistance to begin the road to recovery, the road for mental wellness, or just wanting to, get some information and be validated, because oftentimes it may not be you, it may be a family member that you want to get some resources for.
Okay. I want to make sure we definitely let our audience know where they can. Is there a 24-hour helpline or anything like that?
The suicide line is a 24-hour helpline. The peer-to-peer, I believe they do have, I don't know what those hours are, but definitely have them go on and check it out. And again, if we're finding that the services aren't 24 hours, maybe that's something that, I need to advocate for and say, look, You know, we need to maybe bring in some outside resources that will be able to provide 24 hours. If Riverside is saying we can only do it 8 to 5, then maybe we need to say, look, where we need another contract agency that'll pick up from this time to make sure that we have those services available for the African American community. Again, it's finding out what are the needs? What are the needs? And if that need isn't there, then we need to know so that we can make sure that we put those things in place.
Well, one thing I would I didn't put up is that's the number for the 1-800 for the suicide hotline. Do you happen to have that available? And I say that
it in my cell phone.
Okay. And I say it because I know I did email it out. And let me also stress to the audience, of those of you that would like to, you can always join the email list, which is the marydwelch.com. And I email, I'm not as Hazel told me yesterday, she said, you have slowed down a bit, Mary. Because I was emailing pretty regular. Now I'm kind of like about 3 to 4 days a week, something like that. But we'd love to have you on the email list, and you can find out what's going on in our community. But the suicide 1-800.
The suicide hotline is 1-800.
Oh wait. Listen, I'm not there yet. I don't want to get. Okay, now I'm ready. 1-800
273 8255. That's the suicide crisis hotline.
It's 24 hours, isn't it? 24/7?
Yes.
Okay. 24/7, ladies and gentlemen. And even though you may say, well, I don't need that. That's fine. This is what I've learned. It's not all about what I need. What if there's someone else that has a need? That's really
definitely.
There you go. So it's not even about us. So I would encourage you to email it out, text it out, because you don't really know who needs it. It's impossible to know. I know some people say when people do things, they start giving. This was I've heard part of if people are going to commit suicide, they start giving things away. But what if people giving things away and they're not committing suicide? That's not, you know what I'm saying? So it's more to it than, it's not a one-trick pony kind of thing. We don't know. That's the best way I can describe it. We just don't know. So give it away. Let people know that 24 hours a day, there's someone they can talk to. Just that alone, because this is what I've noticed too in my observations of this. Usually when people talk about suicide and things like that, that happens late at night. It may not happen 9 to 5, but at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, when nobody's around and it's quiet, those kind of things, as people always say, the devil is busy. That's when people hear the voices, or they think all kinds of things. But I would tell you, just give it out. If nobody needs it, that's fine. And then Sheila made a comment. She said, this information is very important to have. My sister committed suicide back in 2017. Wish I knew that number back then. I am willing to assist others that is going through depression. The stuff is real. Thank you, Sheila. I didn't know. I'm so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry. I think we all know someone who has either attempted or unfortunately succeeded. I know I do. And the people, I know a young lady, she was only 15. She was 15 years old. So I'm a witness to this. It is real. It is real. So share this information to as much as we can. I would say that as much as we can, get it out. But in addition to that, Hazel, is there any other?
Let me point out too, because as a consultant, I have to make sure I put it out here. And this falls under mental wellness as well. There's for California, the California Black Women's Health Project. And I want to show this really quickly. I'm not sure how many people can see it, because when we're talking about mental wellness, they focus on sisters mentally mobilized. Now, this is an opportunity where women can come together, and validate each other, to support each other, to talk about those things that are going on, within themselves. It serves as a support group, so the sisters get an opportunity to go through the program, and it can be anywhere from 5 weeks to 8 weeks. They have guest speakers that come in, and eventually what the program does is it gives you tools so that you can go out there, and it's almost like an each one teach one, right? When you go out there and you advocate, because we need to be out there, we need to be be in the schools. We need to be in the churches. We need to be in the communities. Any
Yeah.
way that we can get out there and spread the information we can. I'm also, last but not least, I'm on the executive board for the National Council of Negro Women. And again, we're doing a lot of work as well. We're getting out there because, again, this pandemic has caused so many things to come to the forefront. Again, we're talking about people have been isolated. Most of us have lost 2 years, right? You go, well,
Yep.
that happened last year. So no, you find out, wait a minute,
Uh-huh.
that was at least 5 years ago because we've lost 2 years.
Yeah.
So we're coming together as a National Council of Negro Women, as the California Black Women's Health Project, as the African American Family Wellness Agency, as A.N.T
Mm.
Consulting, an advocate for nurturing transitioning services, to say, what is it that we need to do? How, again, we have the key.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
the key. We have the resources.
Yeah.
We just need to pull our resources together,
Right.
to help our communities to move forward,
Right.
to help our children, to help our grandchildren, to help our elderlies. Because I think most of the times we forget about our elderlies. And that comes from my role as being an advocate for those seniors that are in a long-term care ombudsman program. We need to be there for our African American community. And again, especially for our men, because we find that, we know as women, at least we will ask for directions, right, Mary?
Right.
We will at least
Yeah.
ask for
It's true. It is true. Yeah.
we'll at least ask for directions. But we
Uh-huh.
know sometimes with our men, they suffer in silence. And we
Yeah.
found that, we're seeing a lot of suicide. The suicide rate for the African American men has gone up. And it's because of, that stigma that's associated with, it's a sign of weakness, or I'm crazy. And that's not always the case. So I'm definitely an advocate for mental wellness. I'm an advocate for the African American community. I'm an advocate for moving forward. I'm an advocate for our elders and our children's, just an all around advocate, Mary.
You are. That is for sure, Hazel. As long as I've known you, you've been an advocate. As long as I have known, and you've been community centered. It's
Yes.
what can I do to help the community? And all, like I said, in any way possible. And even like you said,
Yes.
your consulting with the groups that you belong to. And I'm really, and so for those of you that don't know, Hazel, we're in National Council of Negro Women together. I've been blessed and honored to be the president, and Hazel is the historian of our group.
Yes.
She's on the executive committee. I'm always excited because we're new to the IE, but we're powerful. That's all I would tell you. As we are just a powerful group of men and women, by the way, not
Yes.
just all women. We have men that are belong, and I didn't put this in here, but I'm gonna put it in so those of you that are interested in joining, you can go to this website, Riverside, NC, and I'll make it real simple for you. .org. There you go. For those that are interested in joining, you can go right there. Because even though I wasn't planning on talking about this, to be honest, but since Hazel brought it up,
Right.
oh, did I do an error? It says wait for. Oh, okay. They said I put it up. Do you guys see it in there in the chat? Oh no, hold on. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. So those of you we would love to have you as a member. We actually have a meeting this Thursday. So those of you that would like to join, come right ahead. We'd like to have you. But I can tell, I'm saying this because you are a graduate of the Eleanor Jean Greer
Yes.
Leadership Academy.
Yes.
I can tell you, I can go down the line, Hazel, because I know you're involved. You also have your bachelor's degree in
Yes.
business. You say yes, but you are committed. Your commitment goes before you to our community, and I want to thank you for that, Hazel. I really do. You have, even though Richard put in a 5 no, she plays big whist too, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are. We have,
and I'm not going to even show my trophies.
We don't want. Okay, you said you don't want to brag too much, huh?
Right. Richard knows. Richard knows.
Oh, Richard knows. He knows about the trophies. I didn't know that.
He knows I'm a big whist player.
Oh, okay. But that's, you know what? Unfortunately, that is an art that's being lost to the next generation. I noticed that when I ask even my own kids about it, they're like, "Mom, we play spades. They don't play bidwits." So unfortunately, I would hope that we can somehow get the younger generation to play, because I hate that we're losing it. They always say they all play spades, so maybe we can change that some kind of way. I don't know. You
Yes.
guys, so we got to do something because it's just too ingrained in us. But I wanted to in addition, I think there's other. I know you're also aren't you? Is it the United Way? Are
I
you
had
involved?
gone through the United Way leadership development program as well. I've attended several programs as far as leadership and
Okay.
management. In addition, you know, as you said, Mary, just always been involved in the community, want to get as much information as I can to help and support, the African American community. I'm here for anybody, but I have a passion for the African American community. But
Yeah.
I'm here to help, anybody any way I can with the knowledge that I received. And I can look back because I used to be a Girl Scout leader, and I see some of those girls and they've grown up and some of the things that they're doing. And I'm proud to say that I, at least had a hand in some of that, as far as shaping them and giving them some direction. So
All
I
right.
encourage everybody to get involved in some kind of way, to help support, their community in any way they can.
All right. And it is community work. It is so fulfilling to me. I really, really
Definitely.
believe that it's not work. It's more, it's like you mentioned, it's a passion. It is a passion. I agree with what you're saying. We do help. You don't have to be African American to be helped, but I think that without a doubt, we see the need in the African American community so great. So it's like, how can we not work in the community? To those of you that would like to, I'm going to put the opportunity. Those of you that would like to join, we'd like to encourage you to do so. I have that one up. I think it's this one. There you go. And I want to make sure you put up. So you're welcome to do that. We definitely like to have you. I know I want to make sure if you had any closing remarks, Hazel, anything you like to share with the group before we end this show today, because I definitely have enjoyed having you.
Thank you. The only thing I, again, would like to repeat to everybody is to get involved in something.
Yeah,
Again, I'm a part of Riverside African American Family Wellness Advisory Group. We're
yeah,
always looking for members as well. We know that mental health is something that we need, especially now during this pandemic. And we see a lot of things that are happening in the community that are where we need your support.
right.
So please get involved in something that's going to help uplift your community. And again, I will be thrilled to have people, partners, stakeholders to be a part of Riverside University African American Family Wellness Advisory Group.
All right, and we also, as we said before, we those that would be interested in joining the National Council of Negro Women, the Riverside section, you can join. As I said before, we have men. The men are called associate members. So don't feel like, well, I'm a male and this organization. The organization is for everybody. We are not here to say yes only to women. We're here to say yes to the community. But our joint efforts working together is what makes a difference. As I remember hearing someone say it, it's one thing about, I can't remember where the quote is, about having a mighty fist, that you can have one finger, can't really do a lot, but when you put them all together, just the power of that is more than what we can imagine. I don't know if it was Martin Luther King, I can't remember who said it, but it really shows, that working together, you make such a huge, huge difference. And we wanted to make sure that we didn't want to end without giving you opportunity to join. But I wanted to make sure I said to Hazel, you have your involvement does not go unnoticed. It's appreciated because you're also a certified life coach. For those of you that
Yes.
didn't know that, if you were interested, I didn't have Hazel's number, but those of you, let me put, you want to put an email in here, Hazel, they can reach you?
You can put @consulting@yahoo.com. People can reach out to me through
Okay.
email. My website is under construction for right now, but you can definitely reach me through my email address, @consulting@yahoo.com.
Got it. I'm going to put it right there. There we go. So this is going ladies and gentlemen, you can reach her at this email. There you go. Is that right?
Take out the T.
Oh,
CONSULTING.
well, hold on. Let me go back. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. It is A.N.T, the A.N.T, right?
Correct, which stands for Advocate for Nurturing Transition.
Okay. A.N.T. C-O-N-S. Whoops. Okay. C-O-N.
SULTING at yahoo.com.
Got it. Oh, I think I put two I's in there. I don't want that. At yahoo.com. Got it. Okay. Let me see if this is the correct one. Is that it?
Yes.
Got
Yes.
it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you, when I do hope you do, you could not be in better hands with Hazel. So, if you're looking for a certified life coach, you can contact her and she can help you in any way. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's for a family member that you know may need it. You can sure contact her for consulting and find out, just what she can either refer you or she can help you. But you'll be in excellent hands. Let me tell you that. That's for sure. Whatever you need, I'm sure Hazel can help you with. So I want to
Thank you,
take this.
Mary.
You're welcome, Hazel. You're welcome. So I want to take this time to thank her for being on the show, and then I'm gonna going out. So thank you again, Hazel, and I do hope
Thank
you
you,
come.
Mary.
Yeah, I hope you come back again.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
All righty. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're nearing the end. I want to keep Hazel's information up there. Please take down her email and contact her. I can tell you right now, you'll be, like I said before, in excellent hands. She will definitely help you, however she can help you. I can tell you that right now. It will be one of those kind of consultations. Once you talk to her, you're going to be like, why not call her earlier? Why not call her sooner? That kind of thing. And I do want to say again to Sheila, I'm so sorry about your sister. I am so sorry because I know that is the pain of that is just unbearable. So I wanted to say that. She said, is there any information on becoming a life coach? Well, you could email Hazel. That's what you can do. Send Hazel a email. She probably can help you with that. So I don't really know because I'm not a certified life coach, so I can't tell you. I'm sorry about that. But I will tell you this. If you want to know, Hazel can help you. So I want to make sure I say that to each and every one of you. And I want to give those of you, let me go back, the opportunity I mentioned before at the beginning of to I said about the book. I'm going to show this again because I received a text message and it was saying, can I see the cover of the book again? And I thought, yeah, I can show it again. That's not a problem. Let me see. Okay, here we go. And let me go on here. It's a show. And here we go. Okay, this is the cover again, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that didn't see it before, Save Your Home from Probate. If you go to Amazon, you just type in Save Your Home from Probate. There you go. That's a better view. That's what the cover looks like. And I can tell you, if there's ever a passion project, this was it. It was over 3 years in the making to write this and to get this together for you. It's more than I could even express how people have contacted me and said, you have no idea how you've helped our family not have to argue and fight and disagree. So many families are torn apart when people pass away. Let me just say that. It's amazing what has happened when people pass away and they didn't do anything. Because I always say this, they didn't do anything, as Hazel just mentioned too, because we're going to all live forever. We're going to all live forever. A lady contacted me a week ago. She said her brother passed away. No will, no trust, owns 3 properties. The kids, they said they were fighting before they took the body out of the house. Think about what this is saying. Before he could get out the house, they had already started fighting. they will probably lose everything. Let me say that to you. I know that's maybe people are thinking, oh, she's just saying that. No, I'm not. They will probably lose everything because of the fact that he thought he would live forever. And he was a young man. This is not, I'm not talking about someone that was an older person. This is not at all. So he had every reason to believe he was going to live a long life, but it just wasn't to be. So I'm taking this time because I would encourage you. I'm not trying to say by the book. Let me just say that now. I'm not. But I would encourage each and every one of you, if you own property or you know someone who does, do something. Do something, because I've seen families torn apart by this. And it's, I mean, literally torn apart. They don't even speak. And they don't even speak to each other. And not because they couldn't, because things were not taken care of before the person passed. So that's the word of the day, I guess you could say, what I'm going to say to everyone. But I do want to thank each and every one of you for coming to the show. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for spending this time. And those that will, share it with your family and friends, because this information is priceless. It truly, truly is. And I will see you next Monday. Bye, everybody.